It's the Daily Dose from Countable, what your government is doing and what you can do about it. I'm Andrea Seabrook. Today is Thursday, January 17th, 2019. I think it's pretty nonpartisan to say the Constitution, it's a badass document. Not flawless, of course, that whole women and slaves aren't people thing. But as a philosophical and legal framework for a government, written by a bunch of people who'd only ever lived under a king, it's pretty damn impressive. The greatest thing about the Constitution, many believe this, is its flexibility. It sets up the main players, their fundamental purpose, the basic rules, and then it lets them all go to take up the issues of the day. But that doesn't mean it isn't firm on some things. And one of them is laid out in the part establishing the presidency. See, when they were writing the Constitution, there were two broad points of view. One side thought the president should be the powerful center of government. Remember, they'd only ever lived under a king. The other group worried that giving the president too much power would pretty much turn him into a king. This is why we have those checks and balances. And arguably, the most important check on the president is that to hire anyone as a cabinet secretary or ambassador or a bunch of other posts, he has to get the approval of the Senate. That's a huge check on his power. He can't even hire his own top staff. So now, let's move to today. Right now, fully 1/4 of the president's cabinet is held by people President Trump appointed, but whom the Senate has not even had a chance to talk to, much less vote for. These are the acting secretaries. They aren't just filling in little jobs either. The head of the Justice Department, the Environmental Protection Agency, the Interior Department, the Defense Secretary, they're all acting right now. And when does President Trump plan to nominate real officials, those who'd have to go through the Senate?
Well, I'm in no hurry. I have acting, and my actings are doing really great. David is doing great at Interior. Mick Mulvaney is doing great as Chief of Staff, but I sort of like acting. Gives me more flexibility. Do you understand that? I like acting.
President Trump at the White House a couple weeks ago. Of course, we can understand why his actings give him more flexibility. He can completely ignore that pesky other branch of government, the one that represents the people. Of course, that also means ignoring the Constitution and ignoring judicial precedent, which has several times blocked acting officials. So what can you do? Here are 3 things. 1, you cannot ignore this. Whatever you think of the president, the parties, this really isn't a question of politics. It's about our foundation of government. So read up on it. 2, you can call or write your senators. They're the ones whose power is being eroded here. Demand that they not ignore this with just a couple clicks on Countable. And 3, talk to other people. This is the kind of issue that you can talk about with anyone. And hey, you want to share this podcast around? I'd love it. Send your people to Countable, the cutting edge of civic tech and the best way to discover what your government's doing and what you can do about it. I'm Andrea Seabrook. Talk to you tomorrow.